Millions of Americans came together across the country on Saturday to protest against what they see as the growing concentration of power in government. The No Kings movement, as they call themselves, claims the United States is at risk of sliding into authoritarianism. Torian Small reports. Now, from New York to Los Angeles, Chicago to Houston, thousands of demonstrators filled city streets holding signs that read, "No kings, no tyrants, and power to the people." The movement, which began earlier this year on university campuses, has grown rapidly, fueled in part by social media and grassroots organizing. "People are tired of leaders making decisions for us without listening," said Jenna Morales, a college student and activist in Washington, D.C. "We just want accountability. We want a system where everyone's voice matters, not just the people at the top." The protests, mostly peaceful, included speeches, sit-ins, and marches. Organizers emphasized that this is not a partisan movement, but rather a push for reform across all levels of government. They argue that, by decentralizing decision-making and increasing transparency, the country can avoid the pitfalls of concentrated authority. Social media has played a key role in spreading the movement's message. Hashtags like #NoKings225 and #PowerToThePeople trended nationally, helping activists coordinate events and share resources with supporters across the country. Critics, however, have raised concerns. Some political commentators argue that the movement lacks clear leadership, which could make it ineffective or vulnerable to extremist elements. Others warn that anti-authoritarian rhetoric, if misinterpreted, could lead to social unrest. Despite the criticisms, supporters say the decentralized nature of the movement is intentional. "We're not about one leader or one figurehead," explained Marcus Lee, an organizer in Chicago. "Our power is in the network, in the communities, and everyone working together." Historically, anti-authoritarian movements in the United States have often started with small groups of students, activists, or thinkers, questioning the status quo. The No Kings movement draws inspiration from these past efforts, emphasizing civic participation and accountability. During Saturday's events, local authorities in several cities reported minimal incidents, mostly related to traffic disruptions or minor clashes with police. Overall, law enforcement agencies praised the movement for maintaining peaceful demonstrations. The movement's philosophy emphasizes participatory democracy. Supporters argue that citizens should have a direct say in decisions that affect their lives, from local school boards to national policy. "This is about making sure people are heard," said Sarah Patel, an activist in Los Angeles. Experts note that the rapid spread of the No Kings movement is unprecedented in recent years. Within just a few months, local chapters have appeared in nearly every major city in the United States, with thousands of new members joining weekly. Social scientists say this level of engagement among younger generations, particularly Gen Z and millennials, is remarkable. Many participants cite economic inequality, climate policy, and political polarization as reasons for joining the movement. The movement has also sparked a debate in Congress, where some lawmakers have expressed interest in reform measures aligned with the movement's goals, while others remain skeptical or openly critical of the decentralized nature of the protests. Public opinion remains divided. While many Americans support the idea of increased transparency and citizen involvement, others question whether such decentralized protests can lead to meaningful change, or whether they risk destabilizing existing institutions. Organizers continue to stress that their mission is long-term reform, not immediate disruption. They plan to hold educational workshops, town hall meetings, and voter registration drives to ensure their principles are implemented through legal and civic channels. "What we're trying to do is bigger than one protest," said Lee. "It's about creating a culture where government listens, where authority is accountable, and where citizens actively shape their future." While the movement gained national attention in 2025, many activists say their efforts have been quietly building for years. Online forums, community groups, and local initiatives laid the groundwork for what would become a nationwide movement. Economists and political analysts are watching closely to see if the movement will influence policy or elections. Some argue that even without direct legislative victories, No Kings has already shifted the conversation around leadership, accountability, and civic engagement in America. In addition to street protests, supporters have launched campaigns to increase civic education, encouraging citizens to understand their rights and responsibilities. Many universities have partnered with local chapters to host forums and lectures. Despite facing criticism and skepticism, the movement remains resilient. Its decentralized structure, reliance on community organizing, and emphasis on transparency have allowed it to grow steadily without depending on a central figure or traditional hierarchy. As the year progresses, many observers see the No Kings movement as a defining moment in 21st century American civic activism. Whether it leads to significant policy changes or remains a social phenomenon, its impact on public consciousness is undeniable. For many participants, the movement represents more than politics. It's a moral call for fairness, accountability, and citizen empowerment. The question now is whether this momentum can translate into lasting change in local and national governance. Saturday's events ended peacefully across the country, with demonstrators vowing to continue their efforts. The movement's leaders plan to expand outreach, form new chapters, and continue public education campaigns to strengthen civic engagement. The story of the No Kings movement is still unfolding. What started as a small group of activists questioning authority has grown into a nationwide phenomenon, reminding Americans that democracy is not just about elections, it's about active participation, accountability, and the power of the people. And with visuals of empty streets, protest banners, and voices chanting, "No kings, no tyrants."